Aho, nice to be back. It feels like it's been a very long time since my last message here, but I know it's all in divine timing. And there's been a couple of times where I was like, oh, I need to get back on there and deliver messages. But really, there wasn't much new to deliver. The last couple of messages, I remember that Spirit said, go back and look at some of the old videos, and that kind of kept being the message. So I was like, I keep trying to bring new information, but really, I have to remember to trust that Spirit knows exactly what they're talking about. And it all makes sense now looking back. And the reason why is because although I want to always bring updates and just really stay connected with everybody and just have something more relevant and current, I have to remember that a lot of the things that I spoke into, that I prophesized a year and a half ago, we're barely seeing it come to pass. And so a lot of the things, unfortunately, are currently being validated. So it was like we had to catch up with all the previous messages that were given. And so now, again, it makes sense why it was important to watch those back. It was because when I first delivered the messages, it was more of, you need to do this to prepare. And then to watch them back, it was because we were in it. We were in the process of it. And then now it wasn't about preparing, but it was watching and listening to the messages so that you can, help, the messages can help you navigate through what we're now experiencing. So it's a good reminder, for even myself, that when we have messages, that we get readings and, it doesn't always make sense to us at the moment, it's because it hasn't yet happened or we don't recall it, right? Well, if it's something that was from the past, it's usually we don't recall it. It's what we call psychic amnesia. We just can't recall certain events for different reasons. I won't get into that. But then there's also those parts of the messages that don't make sense to us because they haven't yet happened. And especially when it is more of a prophesized message, those are basically messages that have not happened, so we can't really validate or confirm that that's true, or it is. We don't even know if it is going to happen. It's kind of like we're going by our faith that these messages that are being given, are being given to guide us for the higher good of humanity. And that's exactly what we've seen over the period of the last year and a half. And so then came to the point where Spirit wasn't giving me anything else because we were catching up with the messages. And even now, it's all about putting the messages to action. And that was a big part of the messages too, is everything that I'm giving you, you got to put into action. And so now where we're at is we absolutely have to put them into action. And then what that looks like is going to determine where we go from here on out. So just to kind of recap some of the things that are very important is that we do continue to navigate through all this as community, supporting each other and remembering that this was all designed to separate us. And that was happening for a while, but it looks like the pendulum, or it just basically coming back around full circle, where the people are now finally becoming aware of what myself and others like myself delivering messages had been speaking about this entire time. And finally, even myself, with certain people that were completely sold by the media on the nonsense that they have been pushing. They were completely engulfed in the fear of it, in the story that they were creating for us to be in that fear state of mind. Even some of those people now have reached out to me, and oh my God, I had been praying about this because this is a spiritual community that, I mean, I don't want to speak too much into it, but I was just praying to Creator that somehow they would open the door to have this conversation so that I could bring awareness. Because, I mean, as I said before, even our spiritual community had been affected because it's a big spell that was casted. And even now, people are saying those exact words. I mean, I've seen it being repeated on social media, and other people now are saying what I've been saying this whole time, that it has been a big, like, hypnosis spell casted on everyone. And that's why even a lot of the spiritual community had no clue. They couldn't see this because they really stopped or blocked a lot of our intuition from tapping into those realms, or that the stuff that they were doing, so that those of us who work with spirit would not be able to know or see what they were up to. And it worked for a very long time, but I feel now finally everyone, and not just spiritual community, everyone is like, wait a minute, something is not right here. It's like the intuition is finally waking up again. And unfortunately, it did have to, I mean, I shouldn't say have to, but it did, based on what has happened. It needed to happen that way. Otherwise, people were not going to see it. And what I mean by needed to happen that way is that unfortunately, there has been a lot of damage that has taken place. You know, a lot of people were affected emotionally, mentally, and at the very worst of it, people have crossed over, because what they did was so orchestrated to the point where they made sure, and this is what I have been shown intuitively, that everybody across the board was going to be affected, whether it was on a level of, the mental, the emotional, or with the jab, that they were going to be affected physically, and some even crossed over, as I said. And so even those of us who did not receive it did not escape their cruelty, because what they're doing is blocking us from being able to access certain things. So we're struggling in other ways. And so they really, really designed this so that it can affect everyone in one way or the other. But however, this is the thing, is we have to remember that could only work when we're not aware. But because so many of us are aware, it's being dismantled. And I said that they were going to do as much damage as possible before they got taken out. And that's exactly what they did. And they are still continuing to do it. However, again, I have to repeat myself, because the important part here is for you guys to take away is that they cannot continue if we don't allow. If we don't give permission on every level, right? Because we have to give permission on, like, our spirit, but then also by our actions. Are we following along with everything that they're demanding or forcing us to do? So then there's, the verbal, there's the energetic, there's, the physical aspect of receiving the jab. So there's permission on different levels that humanity has been allowing. And that's no more, that's slowly taking a turn, but I feel it'll pick up. So what that looks like, or what that means, is this will unfortunately continue for another while, because those who are still struggling with accepting that this is even happening they need to catch up. They need to catch up, and we all have to guide them and support them and hold space for them, because it's very difficult. It's been difficult for, as I said, all of us. So now imagine somebody that had no clue waking up into something that is just horrific. It's devastating. It is very devastating. So from the beginning, it has been about making sure that we're grounded, that we are rooted into spirit and protected, and really holding down our sovereignty, and yeah, just honoring our truth, but not just like our truth, like, oh, honoring our truth, being stubborn. No, there's a big difference. Honoring the truth means like the truth of whatever it is, even if it's not our truth, but it was the truth. So what I'm trying to say is, did we give ourselves the opportunity to listen to all angles? Okay, because that's something that people have a misconception about. Is like, when you say honor the truth or honor truth, it doesn't mean that you're right automatically. And that goes for me as well. I really had to take a step back and ask Creator, okay, what I'm seeing, what I'm receiving, is this accurate? And more information to validate would come. So that's how it works. You ask Creator for validation or for signs, or however it is that you want to word it, but Creator will provide for you the evidence or the validation. And so I would say, if I'm wrong, please let me know I'm wrong. Let me know that I'm not receiving this information, or I don't want to be misleading people. And so even my truth, I really had to step back and not let my ego take control, because I didn't want to be right in a lot of the things I was receiving, because they were very devastating information to bring to you guys. So it wasn't that I wanted to be right. By all means, I was like, if I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong, because this is really difficult information to know, but also to deliver. And so when we speak about honoring truth, it means honoring everyone's truth. But also, if it doesn't resonate with you, then leave it, right? Sometimes we're in a place where we're not ready for that information. And then when we do our work, our healing, something shifts, and then later on we might be able to process the other thing that we couldn't really quite comprehend or understand. And that's why working on ourselves the entire time has been very, very crucial and important. So the different, like, the only thing that I have different, not even different, I don't have a whole lot other information to bring other than, again, honoring everybody's truth. And so I had pulled out some cards this morning. If you're following me on Instagram, then you may be aware. Once in a while I'll pull cards, but it's on my Earth Moon Tonics page. I decided to separate the pages on my RR Ancestral Medicine page. I just bring awareness on what's going on for those who want to be kept up, who want to know how to navigate through this and what's the changes taking place are. I'm constantly bringing awareness. But then I decided that my Earth Moon Tonics page, for those that need that break, and I want to honor, everyone's process, whatever they're ready to receive, then I decided to dedicate Earth Moon Tonics to just bringing messages of, just lightheartedness, messages that people just want to stay in that space and not know what's going on. They have that choice. So I decided to do that, and I separated both accounts based on one sharing information on what's going on, and then the other one just sharing messages from spirit, information that can help you, through your health, mental, spiritual, physical. And so anyways, I pulled a couple of cards, and one of them has been the wolf. I pulled that one out 2 times this week. And so the message on the wolf is pretty much saying, work on yourself, or, do things on your own, honor yourself, but also work in community. And that is very, very important in these times. And it has always been. But, again, in order for us to get through this, Spirit is just constantly reminding us that it's not about separating each other or separating ourselves from each other, rather than it's about being independent but also embracing each other. You know, that means our differences also. So anyways, I wanted to check in with you guys. It's been a long time. See how you guys are doing. Please let me know in your, comments. Say hi. I want to know how you guys are navigating. Are you guys okay? And just remember to continue doing everything that I've said in the past. So anyways, that's pretty much all for now. I feel that there is a message that I need to share. It's not coming in clear right now. So I think I will wait and send that out separately. But for now, that's all. Okay, talk to you guys soon. I hope.